I'm Christy, welcome. I went shopping, book shopping. I recently moved to a new area and I wanted to check out the actual physical bookstores around me because there's something about a bookshop that's just different than getting it online or on Amazon or whatever. So I went and bought books. It's okay though, because I'm officially putting myself now on a book ban. I am book buying ban. So here are the books. I'm going to show you what I bought. So I went to two different kinds of bookstores. I went to a small independent shop and then I went to a big shop which is called Dimmicks. There's also a couple of extra books which I have here that I got from like another place. I think they were really cheap, so I bought them from there, but it was a physical bookshop, so I'm going to show those to you as well. But I wanted to compare small versus large bookshop, and it's really interesting. So I mean, you would assume that like a small independently run shop, like you get less options, obviously. I wasn't sure price wise whether there was going to be a huge difference or if it was just going to be really similar. I discovered that it's relatively on par, I think, relatively similar prices. I'm used to going to like Amazon or Kmart, which have books for like $12 instead of $25. So I am used to like a bit cheaper prices, but I did do some bargain shopping. I also had books on my list that I wanted to buy that I didn't buy. Books that I was interested in reading that I had on my list. I was like, maybe I'll find them there at the shops, you know, and I will buy them. I did not. I think pretty much everything I picked up almost was not from the stores. The two stores today was not what I was wanting to get. The other ones were though. So maybe I'll go through those first. So the other day I went and got the whole Red Queen series. I am so behind everybody on BookTube. I don't find out about books, or I'm not really interested in certain like popular hyped up books for a while after they've already been and gone, and nobody talks about this really anymore, which is fine. Everyone has sort of moved on to different kinds of YA anyway. A lot of what you get is like these really popular ones that I have absolutely no interest in reading. Victoria Aveyard, I can't, anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I saw her referencing and she says that she doesn't put any like spice in her books, like superpowers, not like magic and wizardry, which a lot of stuff has like magic in it. This is like just powers, and I thought that was really cool as well, which is why I like the Reckoner series, which is over there by Brandon Sanderson, because it was about, you know, superpowers, not about like magic. So not that I don't read nothing. I do sometimes still read magic stuff, like that's, yeah, but it has to be, it's very specific. So anyway, I did get all of those. It's a lot of explaining for something pretty simple. And I also got for like, you know, half the price, The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. This is a Thursday Murder Club book. And honestly, the Thursday Murder Club I read, and I just finished recently, like the other day, last week, and it was so good. I loved the first book, honestly. These like 80-plus-year-olds solving crimes is honestly hilarious. It's the best thing ever. So you know what, yeah, I got this next one because there is actually a third one coming out. So if you haven't read the first one, I would read the first one. There is a murder that happens in these 80-plus-year-old retirement village, and these guys who have really interesting pasts and skills and whatever, they team up to try and solve it, and they usually are solving cold cases, and so it's just hilarious. And then in this second one, I will say too, the first book had me absolutely like, you think you know the answer, you think you've called it, you think that you're like, oh, I know exactly what's going on, and actually you know nothing. Like, it's so cleverly written. And then this one follows literally like the next week on, like it's right after, and one of our main characters gets a letter from someone she thought was dead and they're actually alive, and there's diamonds and mobsters and thievery. It's like, that's hilarious. I'll do the independent bookshop first. So this one is called Mary Martin Bookshop. I honestly did not expect that I was going to spend money. Hey, hang on, first of all, can I just say, this is so cute. They gave me a bookmark, The Faithful Spy. Now this is kind of unusual, and I've never seen this or heard of this book before. And it's really unusual, especially for me, because it actually has a lot of graphics in it. There's like, look how, this is like, look at all these, this is amazing. And so I thought that was really interesting, and this was on sale. It is in the time of Adolf Hitler in World War II, and a pastor in Germany does not agree with the Nazis and what they are saying, because he is, you know, it's like, this isn't in the Bible, this is not how we're supposed to do stuff. And so he, at the grave risk to his own life, he starts a separate sort of church. When the Nazis find out that he's done this with this church, he ends up going on the run, because they do not want him to be spreading the news about the gospel. That goes against everything they stand for. So, I mean, no offense to Nazis, although offense to Nazis, because they're wrong in all of the places. But I just really liked, so there'll be a lot of, like, you know, stuff in here that'll be quite difficult, but like, how cool is this graphic? Like, these are so cool. So I saw that and I actually was just really, really intrigued. It's a true story, evidently. This is so cool. I don't really own graphic type novel situations, so this is actually really fun to be able to have something. It's a little different. It's very different content wise. It's not something everyone would be interested in. But anyway, I thought that looked really cool. Really, these only, the only two I got from the store, I got them because of like the aesthetic. But it's Coco Chanel, the illustrated world of fashion icon Megan Hess. And so I literally only got this book. Like, I couldn't care less about Chanel. I'm sorry. For people who like brands and Chanel and whatever, I couldn't care less. Literally the only reason I got it is because these beautiful illustrations. So this is like a hardback. On the inside cover, we've got all of these like amazing things there. And on the inside, it's literally just this entire book is like the story of, you know, the person, like Coco Chanel, but like in this beautiful, look how incredible some of these visuals are. Like, honestly, I like to think that I like biographies. I don't, but there is like minimal writing. There's information in here, but it's like surrounded. There's like writing in here, but it's surrounded by such incredible illustrations. So this is so amazing. This was the most expensive book I bought. I can't believe I bought it. Just spend all the money forever that I don't have. And I went to Dimmicks, and I have never, I'm not even joking, never been to such a gigantic bookstore in my life. I actually went to, I think most of the books that I got were from the bargain section, and honestly the bargain section itself, like, you had to step up ladder, like stairs, and it was like its own gigantic section. I'm like, what? This is like pretty crazy. So most of the books I got were from that section, but there was one that I didn't. So the first one, I got 4. Shakespeare's Sword by Alan Judd. And essentially they are, this is a really short, and it's like $8, but they are chasing down to see if there's a specific antique sword that was Shakespeare's. It was owned by Shakespeare. And there is a mysterious reason why the sword is wanted and whatever else. It is just, it's really short, so it would be like a quick short read. That would also be really interesting. I don't know if it'll be very historical fiction-y or if it's just going to be interesting and bringing in some of those elements in anyway. I also found, this was $10. It was Mrs. Moa Goes Missing, and this is like this is historical fiction. So it's in 1893. I've never heard of this before in my life, by Marilla, oh my gosh, Marilla Sizmizgazua. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Essentially, in the 1893, a rich socialite wife is bored, and she finds out there's a murder, and so she decides she's going to start solving crimes because she is so bored. This sounds really fun. Zofia. Oh, I get it, like Sophia, but with a Z, Zofia. And a last name I just never be able to pronounce. The name of the author that I just tried to pronounce is actually a pseudonym for Partners. I still can't pronounce these guys' names, honestly. So, let me see. Jack and Piotr. I'm so sorry. Anyway, these guys have written this book together. That is so cute. This was originally released in 2015, but the English translation copyright was 2020 by Antonia Lloyd-Jones. Polish. So these names, I'm so sorry to Polish people. Anyway, I thought it sounded really fun. That was so much time spent on trying to figure out how to pronounce names. I don't read a lot of historical fiction. Recently, I've gotten a few. I got The Seamstress, which is Marie Antoinette times, A Fatal Finale by Kathleen Marple-Kalb. It's an Shane mystery, apparently. Another historical crime fiction situation happening, but this time 1899, and there is a death at, if you couldn't guess already, opera, and the woman who the main character, she is unusual because she wears pants. Shock in the 1800s to wear pants as a woman. Oh my gosh, the worst. But anyway, so yeah, and she finds that they originally rule it as an accident. I like books with performance aspects in it, and I think it's really interesting and really fun when something happens like on a movie set or, you know, at an opera or something really fun. Like I like the art element in books and in fiction, so that'll be cool. And they were both set in the 1800s, which is so unusual for me to pick up and buy. Okay, I almost fell over in the store when I found these, because honestly, I only got one, and I got the paperback one because there was a hardcover. Next time I have lots of money. But I got a paperback one, and it is Firefly Generations. So I love Firefly. No apologies. I love Firefly. I think it's such a good show, and I had no idea that they did books. Firefly only went for like 1-2 seasons, like a very short, had a really short run, which is really sad. But then of course, you know, everyone went on to amazing roles anyway, and so it was, you know, I forgive them for that because nobody else could be Castle and nobody else could be Jessica on Suits and on Castle. So you know what, it's okay. But I had no idea they made books. Original novel by Tim Leben. Essentially, it is kind of like, imagine cowboys in space. That's like the best way I could put it, cowboys in space. Captain Malcolm Reynolds, who is none other than Nathan Fillion, wins a mysterious map in a card game, and he can't read it, can't decipher it, thinks it's useless, brings it back to the ship. River, who is this other girl on the main cover, actually ends up being able to decipher it. She has very interesting abilities that are very suspicious and mysterious. So anyway, she's able to decipher it, and they go off searching for it, and it pointed to one of the Arks, which is a legendary ship that brought humans from the Earth that was to the births. Okay, I'm reading this and I'm regretting my choice, but it seems to me that there's going to be like ghosts on board. It does say that he does write like horror fantasy. That'll be interesting, and I wish I'd read properly, but anyway, so maybe I'll read half of it and then give up, I don't know. But you know what, just for the love of Firefly alone. Anyway, so that's what I got. That was a surprise even to me, getting home and like looking at that. If you can't afford to buy like 100 million books, like I should have not have done, like that was just a bad decision. But if you can't afford to buy lots of books, libraries, which by the way are still around and are amazing, are great. And also secondhand bookstores and online bookstores, secondhand online bookstores, because those are really great. World of Books is one of my favorite places to go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the benches.